Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I'm calling it a double Z card because both of the pieces of cardstock look like Zs. So from the front it looks like this, and that's how it looks from the top, so you can see how it actually works. It is an amazingly easy card to make. So I will start off by telling you the card pieces you're going to need. As usual, I'm changing my colour scheme. So I'm going to use Lost Lagoon and Blushing Bride. So the card pieces you're going to need, there are quite a lot here. To start off with, you need a piece of Lost Lagoon that measures 4 inches by 11 inches, which is 10 by 28 centimetres. You will need another piece which is 1 1/8 inch by 11 inches, and that's 3 by 28 centimetres. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White which measure 2 5/8 by 3 7/8 inches, which is 6.5 by 10 centimetres. And then you'll need a 5 3/8 inch by 3 7/8 inch piece, which is 13.5 centimetres by 10 centimetres. And then you will need more Whisper White, and these are all an inch wide or 2.5 centimetres wide. You need 2 pieces at 2 5/8 inches, which is 6.5 centimetres, and you need 1 piece that's 5 3/8 inches, which is 13.5 inches long. And then you need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, and I've taken these from the Blooming Love, is it Blooming Love? Let me just double check that. Oh no, Love Blossoms Designer Series paper stack. Now one piece measures 2.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, which is 6.25 by 9.75 centimetres, and the larger piece is 5 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, which is 13.25 centimetres by 9.75 centimetres. You will also need some extra Whisper White so that you can do your flowers, and you'll also need some extra Lost Lagoon and Blushing Bride for the punch out there, and that's what I've forgotten to bring over. So let me get that before I forget. So that's Lost Lagoon, and Blushing Bride is there. Okay, sorry about that. I seem to forget something every video, don't I? Good job my head's screwed on. Right, okay, this piece of scrap is what I had left over after I'd cut from one complete sheet, after I'd cut out all of these pieces. So by the time we finish doing all the stamping, you'll have an idea how much of a complete sheet that you need for this. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our coloured cardstock and we're going to score it. So I bring in my scoreboard, and we are going to score this at 2 3/4 inches and 5 1/2 inches. And we're going to do exactly the same to our smaller piece. So that's 2 3/4 inches and 5 1/2 inches. So that's all we need our scoreboard for. I'll pop that out of the way. Now just fold these on the score lines, and I do recommend on this one that you use your bone folder. There are quite a few layers, well there's 3 layers on more or less every side, so you do want nice crisp folds. And when you do fold, do make sure that you're coming over straight here and you're not going off wonky like that. Okay. So that's those two pieces done. That will need to be adhered onto there. And that piece, those pieces. Oh, one of these we need to do a bit of stamping. In fact, so do we here. Right, now I'm going to do all the stamping before I start putting the card together. Now this piece here, I used this stamp, which is from Blooming Love. Okay, so I'm using this one, and in a little while I'll be using that as well. So this one I'm going to be using Lost Lagoon, so I'm using the base colour, so whichever is my main colour I'm stamping in that. Right, let's leave that one. I have two other cards that I can show you that I made different sizes to this. Now this is photopolymer, beautiful, so it's easy to get lined up. And another thing, if you use a very, very small block, it's a lot easier to line it up, because you know that this block is only fractionally smaller than that, so if you get that in the centre, you're good to go really. It's easy to line it up. As you know, I don't use my paper piercing mat to give me pressure for this. I just make sure I hold my stamp long enough for the ink to transfer from the rubber stamp to the actual cardstock. And there is a right way and wrong way for this stamp as well. Just do that and I'll show you. That's the right way up, because you've got all these little hearts and flowers up the top here. At the bottom it's just leaves with a couple of little hearts, but most of the flowery bits are up at the top. So that's those two pieces done, and then this piece I'm using for the sentiment which says wishing you ridiculous amounts of happiness, and that comes from the Cottage Greetings set. Okay, so it's that one there. Now this one, when I put my stamp on here, I made sure my block was lining up with one of these lines here, and then I was able to put this on and make sure that that is lining up down here with another line, so that should be on there straight. Then when I'm ready to stamp, I line my cardstock up with the grid paper. Now I don't want this too high or too low, because it's going to be in the way. Let me get this down a bit, I'm sorry, but I do need to get quite a good view over. That's better. What I'm actually doing is making sure that my block is straight, because I made sure that the ink, the stamp on there was straight. If I can line that up straight, I should be straight. That's not too bad. Okay, so there's that one. Move these out of the way once I've used them. Now the next thing we're going to do, we'll do the flowers, and the flowers are from the small one is from Petite Petals, and the larger one is from Flower Shop, and that's that one there. So I'm going to use 3 each of these, and this is the one where there's a right way and a wrong way for punching. So once you've identified which is the one where you need to slide it into your punch that way, put an arrow down the bottom so that if you stamp with the arrow pointing downwards all the time, you know that you'll be able to go straight in with your punch. Otherwise you could find out that you're really struggling with it. I've actually put this on a little bit wonky, which is why I'm turning my block round a bit. Okay, so the 3 smaller flowers I'm going to do. Did I say that was Lost Lagoon? Don't know, but it is. And this one I'm going to use Blushing Bride. Now this one, it doesn't matter which way you stamp it, all the petals are the same size, same shape. Okay. I do like to stamp this with a straight line at the bottom. Okay, so that's 3 of those. Now I need 1 butterfly, and that's coming in Lost Lagoon. So let's put that round this side. I love this colour, absolutely love it. I think it's really gorgeous. Right, and the small butterfly I'm going to do in Blushing Bride. And then the sentiment for the front of the card, let me bring the card back now. Okay, this one here, I've used the sentiment from Party Pants, which is one of our Sale-A-Bration stamps at the moment, this will be available until 31st of March, but then Sale-A-Bration will be over and it will no longer be available, and this is the one that I'm using. You will see that I have cut quite a lot of rubber off of this one, and it does stamp a lot better now that I've done that. If you decide to do it, please note that by doing it you will make your guarantee with Stampin' Up! Null and void, because obviously you've already damaged it by cutting it. But I don't see that as a problem. I'm just so totally confident with the quality of Stampin' Up! Products. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stamp this a little bit higher than I think I need it, because I want to stamp that little stamp around the bottom. Okay, so I get these little flowers like this. Okay, so I've done my happy birthday. So I think that's going to be the last of the stamping. So let's bring the Blushing Bride in, and this one also has a right way and wrong way. And what I do with this is, again, photopolymer, so I just judge this by looking at it. And the top 2 bits I look, and I'm getting it so that I can see the Y from U going in between those 2. And where you see the one with the 3 balls on top, that is the top of the stamp. And then I go round to the side to do another one, and that leaf at the top there, let's see if you can see this, that's it, that one there. I do that so it comes into this gap here. And then I do one on this side as well. Not quite sure how I aim this one. I think what I do... Oh, I'm going over my butterfly. I'm going to have to do my butterfly again. I aim to get that flower in between there. Right, let me just get this back again. That wasn't very clever. Okay, so make a note, you need to leave yourself more room than I did there. Right, that's all the stamping. Now we do the punching. And hopefully we can do it all around the edge of here. Okay, so first of all the large butterfly, and this is the Elegant Butterfly Punch. And then the, I think this is the Bitty Butterfly Punch. I will have all the names of everything on the screen and also in the box below the video for you. So if I say anything wrong, I'll be able to correct it underneath. Okay, so there's that one. Now the small flowers. So you can see by the amount of stamping we've done, this project doesn't take quite a whole sheet of Whisper White. Now this is the one that needs to be lined up carefully. So if you've managed to found out which is the right one, put your arrow on there, then it's quite easy to punch out. And I really think it's worth taking a few seconds just to make sure you do get everything lined up nicely. Now for my sentiment, I'm using the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to pop that in so that my sentiment comes near the top and I've got plenty of flowers going around it. Okay, oops. Retrieve that. Now that is going to be put onto a 1 1/2 inch circle of Blushing Bride. So that's that one. I also want from the Blushing Bride, and this piece may not be big enough, I want the 1 3/4 inch scallop circle. Oh, just about, look at that. And then I need a Lost Lagoon. Here we go. There we go. So all we need to do now is to put everything together. So before I put this away, that's what's left out of one complete sheet of Whisper White for this project. So I would say you probably need 3/4 of a sheet. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my good friend Tommo, and I'm going to start putting everything together. So first of all, my piece with the sentiment on is going on this side. Right, okay. You want to play hard to get. There we go. Do you see that? You quite often you can just put your paper piercer in there and you pull out a little like plug, So this should now flow nicely. Yes. And then the next white is coming on that side. And then the larger piece onto here. I don't know why I always turn it over. Both sides are exactly the same. Now we will use the designer series paper, so the first one's going on there. I think this colour would have gone quite nicely, wouldn't it? I'm not sure whether, I think it's crumb cake, it could be Tip Top Taupe, but that would have gone quite nicely with the Lost Lagoon. Right, there we go, that's that one. And then this one's going to go on the front. Okay, so pop that to one side, bring these two in, and we're going to put them on here. Just make sure you put them on the right side. Right, okay, so that's the side you need. You need the mounting fold on your first one, your long piece on your left hand side, okay, with your mounting fold there. If you did it wrong, it's not the end of the world because you just fold it the other way. And of course make sure you get it up the right way. And then this one. So I've done it again, I've turned it over, clear both sides. Right, so that's that piece put together. Now the next piece we're going to do is this one, our sentiment. So we're going to do the actual sentiment onto the brown pink circle. Just make sure that's centered there. And then that's going on to the Lost Lagoon. And I find that the outside of the pink circle just about touches where each of these dips go in. It's the easy way to get this lined up. And then this goes on the pink. And what I'm doing is making sure the scallops are offset. Okay, so that's that one. So with the butterfly, what I'm doing with him, I use my finger now to fold his body either side so that I can get a straight line there. I do that with the little butterfly as well. And then I just put a tiny amount of glue on his back. I just use the back of my tweezers to put these together. Make sure the body goes down because it's nice and because it's nice and narrow, and I don't want it all squodged down underneath his wings. Right, and what I forgot about this one is my dimensionals, which is a top. That's a top. Right, and what I'm planning to do is to have the top coming off the top of the card. So I'm not putting my dimensionals right at the very edge there. Okay, so I've had a look, see where my top of my sentiment is, and I've made sure these haven't come too high. So that's ready. Now I need to prepare my flowers, and I curl all the leaves of the large flowers. I've got a bit of glue on my fingers, so everything's tending to stick to me. Right, that's those. And then these ones, either use your piercing mat or your hand like I do, and just use the round end of your paper piercer to push into the centre of your little flowers, and it just gives a lovely amount of dimension. And then to put these together, I just put a little circle of Tombow in the middle of the large flowers. And pop that down there. There we go. So that's everything ready to go together now. Now the only slightly tricky bit is to put this on so that you get it in the right position. And what I do, or at least what I've done with this one, because of the size, I worked out where the 2-inch mark is, because I wanted room for this to go on the top here, but still have these without these crowding in, if you like, on there, and I thought that was a nice spacing. So if you use your grid paper, and because some of this has disappeared off my screen, what I'll do is if I start at 2 rather, then I can go up at 4, and what my plan is to make the top of this on the 4-inch line. So what I will do is I will turn this over, and the end of this will go right to the edge of my card, and I want the edge there to come down to that edge as well. So with my card in place. I've got the bottom down here, and that one at 2 inches, and that's measured at 4. And I'm just going to line that so that it is straight. That must be coming over to there. Yep. So I'm going to draw a little line at the edge of the pink DSP, and I'm going to do a little line at the edge of the DSP this side as well. That's going to tell me where I want my glue to go. Okay, so pop this back again, bottom of the card on 2 inches, put this on 4 inches without moving it. It doesn't matter if it's a bit up. It's just to give a guideline, and making sure that you've still got your card straight along the top here, and then you can follow this along that line so that's straight. That's it, lovely and straight. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put Tombow on this, so fold this end one back, leave a little gap here because it's going to be coming off of here. And then easy peasy to find where to put the card is if you close this bit here, holding this so that you don't get glue anywhere, and then fold it all back on each other like that. Let's see. Alright, so it's all folded, and then put this bit down first, hold this up slightly, and then you can just let it go down gently. Okay, just give Tombow a few seconds to grab hold of the designer series paper there, and then you have your card. Very easy, isn't it? Now I forgot to put dimensions on the back of these, so let's do that. The flowers have been placed so that they don't get crushed as the card opens and closes. Okay, the little flowers in there, which I've forgotten to do, haven't I? They will get a bit flattened, but you can still see there's a bit of dimension there. Okay, so the first one I'm going to put on this line here, and I'm using one single petal, and where it's got the dip in it I'm putting it on the Lost Lagoon line, and I'm making sure that the gap here is with this Lost Lagoon line. And then the next one I'm going to do, and you might find it easy if you've got one of the envelopes with you, so that you can see exactly how this is going to work out. Okay, so you've got quite a lot of room down this end, so you can put your flower so it comes off the end, and that's not going to give you a problem about getting it into the envelope. I don't take mine off loads, but it is nice to take it off a little bit. And I don't do my flowers all the same either. Now this one I'm going to turn it so I've got two going up, and I'm just making sure that I'm getting the pink in a straight line with that one, and then I've got my little petal here coming off. Now for this one, because this length here is shorter than this length, and I think it's only because the DSP is shortening it. So what I'm going to do now is, again with 2 petals near the top, I'm going to try and get the same gap there as there. 2 petals at the top. About that, I think. Alright, so that's that bit. Now with this, I'm going to put this, let go, on top here, and again I've got my envelope here so that I can see that I'm not going to put it too high. I want it in the centre, and I want it to look nice with these as well, and of course straight. Okay, so that's like that. These colours go together well, don't they? I must say I was a little bit concerned while I was preparing everything, because I wasn't convinced these 2 colours were going to go. I thought that both of the colours are quite soft. I thought maybe they needed a strong colour, but we seem to be okay. Right, my butterfly I'm going to put down there. And I will go back later on to do those 3 flowers. But the final bit that I did was I added some pearls on these ones here. I didn't put pearls on them because I don't like having that kind of dimension when you've got cards folding. So what I've done, I don't know if you can see that, but I've gone over that with Wink of Stella. Come on, don't play hard to get. Oh yes, I think you see that now, can't you? And the other part I do is Wink of Stella onto these little flowers as well. That one I can show you. So I just paint very carefully all over the flower. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to be putting my pearls on. So I use the large size for the big flowers. I use one of the medium size for this little flower on here. And I use 3 in a row for the butterfly's body. There we go. So that is today's card. Actually, you may decide you don't want the flowers there. You have the choice. Right, I want to, before I go, just show you 2 more cards that I did. They were different sizes to the one that I've done here. There we go, that's that. Move those out of the way. So there was this one, and the difference with this is I did, instead of 4 inches, this is 4.5 inches tall. Okay, so that's 4.5, which gave me more room to do this in the centre, which gave me room to put another flower there, and I brought the butterfly down. and I used the different stamp there. I used the same one that I'd used there. But the other one, which really is totally different, is this one, where I used, can't think of the name of that DSP, but it's Pool Party and Pink Pirouette, no, Blushing Bride, but all of these were die cuts. I used the Botanical Blooms, no, Botanical Builders Framelits dies, and obviously it was far too long to do a video like that, so I went over to the punched flowers, which I think are just as nice. So there we go. You have the choice, lots of choices, and of course different sizes. And this one was a different size as well. Hold on, what was this? I think it was 4 1/8. Yes, that's 4 1/8 there. So there we go. I hope you like my video today, and I really hope you give this a try. Although there's quite a lot to it, it is easy, and the result is really, really beautiful. And of course you could put any kind of sentiment that you wanted for, you know, anniversary or wedding or whatever. Anyway, as I say, many thanks for watching my video today. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm always happy to help. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. If you'd like to buy any of the products that I featured here today, please click on the 24/7 link that's in the box below, and that'll take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Also, I will be putting all the dimensions and the products and the catalogue numbers on the screen, but I am aware that depending on what you watch this video on, it doesn't always show, so all the details again will be in the box below. Okay, so many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.